Hey, how you all doing? Well, today I'm in my truck. I'm in the cab. I decided to do some work in here. Something that I've been meaning to address is the column shift. Now, I bought a set which is supposed to work out the box, and I'm really not happy with how it works. It's a bit janky. I'll explain why. And I've also discovered a few things which I've got to address. Now, the steering column needs to go to the right a little bit, so I think I'm going to have to adjust the box a little bit and maybe space it out a little bit more, just at the front or what have you. But I don't think that's going to be a big issue, because the steering column selector kind of rubs on the edge there. Didn't anticipate that being a big issue, but evidently it is. So this is the kit that I bought from Lineworks. So you've got this piece here, which I'll show you in a minute, which goes on the selector, on the transmission. And it's got this little button here to lock out there's a button to stop you starting the car unless it's in park or neutral. And then you've got this ring which goes on the steering column with a spring and all sorts of other bits. This kind of locates, and there's a little pin. Where is the pin? So this tiny little screw is supposed to fasten to the selector and locate in here, like that. But it doesn't really work like that. So I've made use of this thing and this thing. So I've made use of their piece there and the piece on the other end on the steering column, so that now it will select through all of the motions. This is a TH400, and this has been purchased for a TH350, Turbo 350. Now I've got this on here, and it kind of works, but on the pictures it shows it being the other way up. Yeah, so this is the park position. Then that'll be neutral, reverse, drive, 2 and 1. Now I don't really know how a column selector would normally work. I feel like that would be park, and then you'd go down like that to get into drive. So yeah, maybe I've got it backwards. So during the course of filming the last bit of footage, I realised that you want it in park at the top here and drive when it's like horizontal. Kind of makes sense that way. I don't really know, because I've not really been around American trucks before with column shifters, but I guess in trying to demonstrate to everybody on YouTube, you guys, looking at this thing, maybe I should have looked at the instructions first, but I didn't, so that's fine. So it's like a little lockout switch. Anyways, this whole arrangement here is janky. I don't like it at all. It's I want a nice positive detent, so I'm going to design something different. I'm going to design something different which goes inside. Let's see. Oops. It's going to go inside this little box here, like a little locator dog thing, because I've cut off everything which is internal to that. But I just kind of wanted to get this up and running, but having it the correct. So what I was doing is, if you can see in there, so having that piece which goes on the selector on the transmission, it's in the place where it says in the instructions now, and it just is right on the limit of the fulcrum where I've got it on here. It's like it should. It's like if this was lower down it would be better, but anyway, maybe if I put that on the other side. Anyway, I'm kind of thinking out loud. So this is the arm that came with the kit, and when I install it on the transmission, it gets to kind of like there, so the arm is coming off of it straight, so you can't get it into park. You can't move it around far enough. So what I've done is I have 3D printed some alternates, and they each clock that a little bit differently. So 5 degrees more, 15 degrees more, and then 20 degrees more. Oh, yeah, so plus 5 degrees, plus 20 degrees, plus 25 degrees around from that position, so that I can test it and see if I can get a good movement on the transmission selector. Whilst I was at it, I 3D printed some spaces for the collar, which goes on the steering column, and these spaces to come off. Now, these ones, they're going to be replaced with stainless steel. I'll have them laser cut, so I'm just using them for testing. But these ones, these are ABS, printed in ABS, and I think they're going to be good enough for final use parts. It's like non-critical thing, it's just going to start to squeak or rattle or whatever. But again, just testers really. And this one's the plus 20 degrees, and I tried it first and it kind of works. So now at the moment we're in park, and that big detent is neutral, and then you've got drive. Sorry, you've got neutral, then you've got reverse. Start again. So that's park, that will be neutral, that's reverse, then you've got drive, gear 2, gear 1. That little clunk you heard was the arm. Let's see if I can get my camera up here. That's the arm there hitting on the steering column, so I do just need to take a little bit out. I'll just be able to grind a little bit out on that arm, but I feel like this is the correct adjustment. So I don't know whether the part I've got for the lockout switch, this is the lockout switch, was designed for a TH350 or what, but it's not going to go in the right place for this, so I'm going to have to probably laser cut a new piece for that if I want to use a lockout on here. I've readjusted the steering box. I had the wheel off and did that. I didn't really film any of that because I've done so much filming of that element. Just kind of wanted to get it done. So this is where you'd start. So that would be park, neutral, drive, sorry. So that would be park, neutral, reverse, drive, 2 and 1. So that's like the total amount of travel that you can get. So what you would want to do is so the way I'm going to design that lockout within that little selector box is you'll pull, it won't move when it's there. You'll pull that forward like that, which will allow you to move it into neutral, and it will lock into neutral as well. And you can have it lock into drive as well too. I wonder what colour I should paint this. Should I paint it red like the body, or should I paint it grey like the rest of it? Or should I paint it black grey? All kinds of decisions to make. I feel like you've got like some black accents with the rubbers in here. I think that looks quite cool. I think I'm going to go with the black grey. Yeah, decided. You don't get to say in the comments, so don't go in the comments and say you should paint it red or yellow or something, because I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to paint it black grey. So there's the 3D printed collar installed. Gives it a nice spacer. The 3D printed spacer, which I cut down a bunch, that was always the plan, so I can redo that and just make it a circle. I don't think I'll make it a slot. I think it'll work fine like that. So that's the steering wheel all secured. I think I ordered some TPU, which is a flexible 3D printing filament. I'm going to print those in that, and maybe just add a little bit so we don't have that gap. I've got a stalk for the controlling the indicators and stuff, and I need to think about how I'm going to install it, because it needs to clamp onto here again with the 3D printing. I think in terms of how it's going to look underneath the hood here, I think having this original piece, the selector, I think it's going to kind of look in place, really. I like it. I do like it. And to put some lock nuts on those rose joints. They didn't come with lock nuts, or if they did, I didn't install them. So this is the transmission piece. When you pull it up, that's the action you get in here. So on the end of there is going to be a pin, and this piece is going to be replaced with one with the holes in it, so it will locate and it will be fixed. Pretty simple, hey? I want to show you these rear lights. I 3D printed some fillets which represent what the steel is going to look like, just so that, you know, without going to the trouble of making up some steel pieces, how it's going to look, see if I like it or not. And I do like it. I think it looks really good. These are going to be welded in, so you'll get like a sort of a curve, kind of like that on the edge, and there'll be a fillet in there which I'll grind nicely. On that side it's going to be, you know, from the other side I might do like a TIG fillet on there or something like that. But it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get it to look right. But the point is, I've never seen anyone do this before, quite like this. It's like going to that extra trouble. And I think it is going to be quite difficult to get it to look good. A lot of grinding work on that. I got these reflectors because they match the Dietz ones, but the way they sit proud like that, I'm not really keen on them. So I went on the eBay and I found some more which match this type, these Dietz ones. The guy has polished them, and there is a little bit coming out. I'll throw an image up. I'll throw an image up of the eBay link. But they're coming out from America. The idea being is that I can 3D print like a lens which would look like that, and then inset a reflector, just any reflector. And then I could still put a light bulb in it, and you might get like a little halo effect. So that could go in the middle, and then the two lights either side. It could be like a tail light or some side light or whatever. Don't know. Options. But I'm gonna put that to one side. I'll draw up the steel versions of the 3D print and get those laser cut or make them myself. But I'm putting that to one side for the minute because I've got some other pieces which I want to draw up. So yeah, another short one for you. Just a little update. I want to try and keep you more updated about how I'm getting on with this project. You can put your 2 penneth worth in. All right, take it easy. Later.